First contact, unexpected visitors. The vast expanse of space had always been a source of wonder and speculation for humanity. For centuries, scientists, philosophers, and dreamers alike had pondered the question, are we alone in the universe? On a crisp autumn morning in 2045, that question was finally answered. Dr. Samantha Chen, lead astronomer at the SETI Institute, stared at her computer screen in disbelief. The signal she had been tracking for the past week was unlike anything she had ever seen before. It was structured, repeating, and undeniably artificial. Her hands trembled as she reached for her phone to call her supervisor. "Dr. Patel, you need to see this," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Within hours, the news spread like wildfire. Governments scrambled to respond, media outlets went into overdrive, and the general public oscillated between excitement and fear. As the world held its collective breath, the signal grew stronger. 3 days later, the source of the transmission revealed itself. A massive ship, easily the size of a small city, appeared in low Earth orbit. Its sleek, silver surface reflected the sunlight, creating a dazzling spectacle visible even during the day. World leaders convened an emergency meeting at the United Nations. As they debated their next move, the decision was made for them. A smaller craft detached from the mothership and began its descent towards New York City. In Central Park, a diverse group of representatives had hastily assembled. Military personnel stood at attention, scientists clutched their instruments, and diplomats straightened their ties. As the alien craft touched down, a hush fell over the crowd. A door slid open, revealing a being unlike anything humans had ever encountered. Standing nearly 8 feet tall, with iridescent blue skin and 4 arms, the alien regarded the assembled humans with large, multifaceted eyes. "Greetings, people of Earth," the alien spoke, its voice resonating in perfect English. "I am Ambassador Zixtal of the Galactic Confederation. We come in peace and with an invitation." Dr. Chen, who had been rushed to the scene as Earth's leading expert on the signal, stepped forward. "Welcome to Earth, Ambassador Zixtal. We are honored by your presence. May I ask what kind of invitation you bring?" The alien's mouthparts twitched in what might have been a smile. "For millennia, your species has looked to the stars, wondering if you were alone. Today, we answer that question definitively. You are not alone, and more than that, you are now ready to join a community of sentient beings that spans the galaxy." Murmurs of excitement and apprehension rippled through the crowd. A stern-faced general spoke up. "And what exactly does joining this community entail?" Zixtal turned its gaze to the general. "It means access to technologies beyond your current understanding, the opportunity to explore the cosmos, and the chance to contribute to the greatest exchange of knowledge and culture in the universe." As the implications of the ambassador's words sank in, a young diplomat stepped forward. "Ambassador, while we are deeply honored by this invitation, surely you understand that this decision cannot be made lightly or quickly. Our world is diverse, with many nations and cultures. We would need time to discuss and reach a consensus." The alien's eyes seemed to twinkle with amusement. "Of course. In fact, we expected nothing less. Your caution and desire for consensus are admirable traits. We will remain in orbit for one of your Earth months. During this time, we invite your leaders and experts to visit our ship, learn about our civilization, and ask any questions you may have." Over the next 4 weeks, Earth experienced a whirlwind of activity. Delegations from every nation visited the alien ship, returning with tales of wonders beyond imagination. Scientists pored over the basic technological information freely shared by the aliens, making breakthroughs that would have taken decades in mere days. As the deadline approached, the United Nations convened once more. After hours of intense debate, a decision was reached. Humanity would accept the invitation to join the Galactic Confederation. On the final day of the aliens' promised stay, a grand ceremony was held. Representatives from every nation on Earth gathered as Ambassador Zixtal presented them with a small crystalline device. This, the ambassador explained, is your key to the stars. It contains the coordinates to the Galactic Academy, where your best and brightest will learn to navigate the complexities of interstellar society. As Dr. Chen accepted the device on behalf of humanity, she couldn't help but ask, "Ambassador, out of all the species in the galaxy, why choose us? Why now?" Zixtal's expression became serious. "Dr. Chen, in all our travels, we have rarely encountered a species with such a unique combination of traits. Your adaptability, your creativity, your resilience in the face of adversity, these are rare and valuable qualities. But it was your potential that truly caught our attention." The ambassador paused, seeming to choose its next words carefully. "Your world, which you call Earth, is unlike any we have encountered. It is, by galactic standards, extraordinarily hostile to life. Yet, here you stand, not just surviving, but thriving. The fact that you have developed advanced civilization in such conditions is remarkable." A mix of pride and confusion swept through the human delegates. Their home, which they often took for granted, was apparently something special in the grand scheme of the universe. Zixtal continued, "We believe that a species forged in such adversity has much to offer the Galactic Confederation. Your unique perspectives and problem-solving abilities could be invaluable in facing the challenges that lie ahead." As the ceremony concluded and the alien ship prepared to depart, humanity stood on the brink of a new era. The stars, once distant and unreachable, now beckoned with the promise of adventure and discovery. Dr. Chen, clutching the crystalline key to humanity's future, looked up at the sky. The enormity of what lay ahead was both thrilling and terrifying. Humanity had faced countless challenges throughout its history, overcoming obstacles that seemed insurmountable. Now they would face their greatest test yet, proving their worth among the stars. As the alien ship disappeared into the cosmos, leaving behind a world forever changed, Dr. Chen whispered to herself, "Well, humanity, it's time to show the galaxy what we're made of." Little did they know, the true nature of their homeworld and the challenges it had prepared them for would soon become apparent, shaking the very foundations of the Galactic Confederation. Certainly, I'll continue with Part 2 of the story. Part 2, the Galactic Academy. Humans join the ranks. 6 months after first contact, the first group of human representatives prepared to depart for the Galactic Academy. The selection process had been rigorous, with candidates chosen from various fields: scientists, diplomats, soldiers, and even a few artists. Among them was Dr. Samantha Chen, whose role in the first contact had made her an obvious choice. As the sleek interstellar shuttle, a gift from the Galactic Confederation, prepared for launch, Dr. Chen found herself seated next to Captain Marcus Rivera, a decorated military officer with a reputation for thinking outside the box. "Nervous, Doc?" Marcus asked, noticing her white-knuckled grip on the armrests. Samantha managed a weak smile. "Just a bit. It's not every day you leave your home planet for the first time." As the shuttle broke free from Earth's atmosphere, the 50 chosen representatives watched their blue planet shrink in the viewport. For many, the reality of their situation was only now sinking in. The journey to the Galactic Academy took 3 weeks, during which the humans received basic lessons on galactic etiquette and history from their alien escort, a jovial 6-limbed being named Klex. "Now remember," Klex chittered, his mandibles clicking excitedly, "the Academy is home to over 500 different species. Some may look strange to you, some may even seem frightening, but all are here to learn and grow together." When they finally arrived, the humans were awestruck. The Galactic Academy was a massive space station, a gleaming construct of metal and energy fields that housed millions of beings from across the galaxy. As they disembarked, they were greeted by a diverse, welcoming committee. Ambassador Zixtal was there, along with representatives from various alien species. "Welcome, humans, to your new home for the next 5 years," Zixtal announced. "Here, you will learn about galactic law, advanced sciences, and the rich tapestry of cultures that make up our confederation." The humans were quickly ushered to their quarters, a section of the station adjusted to Earth-like conditions. As they settled in, Dr. Chen couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched with intense curiosity by the other species. The next day, classes began. The humans were split into different faculties based on their expertise. Dr. Chen found herself in the xenobiology department, while Captain Rivera joined the tactical studies program. In her first class, Dr. Chen was paired with a floating, gas-based life form named Zephyr for a practical exercise. Their task was to analyze the cellular structure of various alien plants. Fascinating, Zephyr whistled, its gaseous form swirling with excitement. Your manual dexterity is quite impressive, Samantha. How do you manage such precise movements in your planet's high gravity? Samantha blinked in confusion. High gravity? Earth's gravity is quite standard, isn't it? Before Zephyr could respond, a commotion from across the lab caught their attention. A hulking reptilian being was looming over Captain Rivera, its scales bristling with anger. You dare to challenge my calculations, soft skin, the creature growled. Marcus, despite being dwarfed by the alien, stood his ground. With all due respect, Ambassador Cragthar, the tactical simulation clearly shows that your proposed defense strategy leaves the southern quadrant exposed. The lab fell silent, all eyes on the confrontation. Cragthar's species, the Dracons, were known for their military prowess and quick tempers. Challenging one was considered either very brave or very foolish. To everyone's surprise, Cragthar's angry expression slowly morphed into one of grudging respect. You have keen eyes, human. Perhaps your species is not as soft as you appear. As the weeks passed, the humans began to notice a pattern. While they struggled with some aspects of their education, particularly when it came to understanding alien philosophies or manipulating advanced energy fields, they excelled in unexpected areas. In physical training, the humans consistently outperformed many species, their endurance and adaptability giving them an edge. In problem-solving scenarios, their out-of-the-box thinking often led to novel solutions that impressed their instructors. One day, during a mixed-species survival exercise on a simulated harsh planet, Dr. Chen and a team composed of various aliens found themselves trapped in a rapidly flooding cave system. As panic began to set in among some of the more aquaphobic species, Samantha took charge. Klex, can you use your extra limbs to help clear that debris? Zephyr, see if you can find any air pockets above. Marcus, help me rig up this equipment into a makeshift pump. Working together under Samantha's guidance, the team not only escaped, but completed the exercise in record time. Their instructor, a crystalline being named Savith, was impressed. Remarkable teamwork, Savith chimed, its facets glowing with approval. Especially you, Dr. Chen. Your species seems particularly adept at crisis management. As they left the simulation chamber, Klex pulled Samantha aside. I've been meaning to ask, how do you humans remain so calm in the face of danger? Many species freeze or panic, but you seem to thrive under pressure. Samantha thought for a moment. I suppose it's because we're used to it. Earth has always presented us with challenges, natural disasters, harsh climates, limited resources. We've had to adapt to survive. This conversation sparked a realization among the human contingent. What they considered normal, their strength, their endurance, their problem-solving skills, was apparently extraordinary by galactic standards. As the first year at the academy drew to a close, the humans had made a name for themselves. They were known for their tenacity, their adaptability, and their uncanny ability to find unconventional solutions to complex problems. However, not everyone viewed these traits positively. Some species began to whisper among themselves, concerned about the potential threat these Deathworlders might pose to the galactic balance. In a private meeting, Ambassador Zixtol conferred with the Academy's High Council. The humans are progressing faster than we anticipated, Zixtol reported. Their physical capabilities and mental resilience are unprecedented. The head of the council, a being of pure energy named Eon, pulsed with concern. "Do you believe they could be a threat, Ambassador?" Zixtal's multifaceted eyes flickered thoughtfully. "Not intentionally, no. But their potential is enormous. If they were to fully realize the advantages their harsh homeworld has given them," Eon's energy form shimmered, "then we must test them further. Push them to their limits. We must understand the full extent of their capabilities before they do." As the meeting concluded, neither Zixtal nor the council were aware that their conversation had been overheard. In a nearby ventilation shaft, a small drone belonging to Captain Rivera silently recorded every word, setting the stage for the challenges to come. The humans' journey at the Galactic Academy was just beginning, and the true tests of their abilities were yet to come. Little did they know, their performance would not only shape their own future, but potentially alter the course of galactic history. Trials and tribulations, proving human worth. As the second year at the Galactic Academy began, the human contingent found themselves facing increasingly difficult challenges. Unbeknownst to them, these trials were carefully orchestrated by the High Council to test the full extent of their capabilities. Captain Marcus Rivera, having discovered the Council's plans through his drone, decided to keep the information to himself for now. He believed that forewarning his fellow humans might skew the results and potentially harm their standing in the galactic community. Instead, he chose to prepare them in subtle ways, intensifying their training regimens and encouraging them to push their limits. The first major test came in the form of an impossible exam in quantum mechanics. Dr. Chen, along with students from various species, stared at their holoscreens in disbelief. The problems presented were far beyond their current level of study. "This has to be a mistake," whispered Zephyr, its gaseous form swirling in agitation. Samantha frowned, her mind racing. Maybe that's part of the test. She began to work, not on solving the problems directly, but on finding creative ways to approach them. By the end of the exam, she had only answered a fraction of the questions, but her unorthodox methods caught the attention of the examiners. Meanwhile, in tactical studies, Captain Rivera and his classmates were presented with a no-win scenario. They were tasked with defending a colony against an overwhelming force with limited resources. As other students resigned themselves to failure, Marcus remembered Earth's history of guerrilla warfare and asymmetric conflicts. He devised a strategy that, while not achieving total victory, would ensure the survival of the colonists and inflict disproportionate damage on the invading force. His instructor, the Dracon Ambassador Kragthar, was impressed. "Unorthodox, but effective. You humans have a knack for turning disadvantages into advantages." These tests continued across all disciplines. In xenobiology, Dr. Chen and her classmates were tasked with treating a rapidly spreading alien plague. In engineering, human students found innovative ways to repurpose outdated technology to solve modern problems. In diplomacy, they navigated complex multi-species negotiations with unexpected success. As weeks turned into months, the humans' reputation at the Academy grew. They became known not just for their physical resilience, but for their adaptability, creativity, and determination in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. However, this growing reputation also bred resentment among some species. A group of advanced energy-based life forms, known as the Luminars, began to view humans as potential rivals for their long-held position as the Confederation's problem solvers. One day, during a mixed-species team exercise, things came to a head. The team, consisting of Dr. Chen, Captain Rivera, Zephyr, a Luminar named Solara, and others, was tasked with escaping a malfunctioning space station before it exploded. As they raced through the deteriorating station, Solara deliberately sabotaged their efforts, hoping to prove human inadequacy. When a bulkhead unexpectedly collapsed, trapping Solara, the Luminar expected to be left behind. To Solara's surprise, Samantha and Marcus rushed back, risking their lives to free the trapped alien. "We don't leave anyone behind," Marcus grunted as they worked to lift the heavy debris. This act of selflessness shocked Solara. Why? I've done nothing but hinder you. Samantha, straining under the weight of the bulkhead, managed a smile. Because it's the right thing to do. On Earth we have a saying, united we stand, divided we fall. Their teamwork allowed them to escape just as the station's core went critical. As they watched the explosion from the safety of their escape pod, a chastened Solara turned to the humans. I may have misjudged your species. This incident marked a turning point. Word of the humans' actions spread through the academy, changing perceptions. Many who had been wary now saw humans as valuable allies rather than potential threats. However, a High Council remained cautious. They decided to implement one final extreme test. Under the guise of a routine terraforming exercise, they sent a mixed team, including several humans, to a hostile planet on the edge of known space. What the team didn't know was that the planet's conditions were far more severe than reported. Acid rain fell from the sky, the atmosphere was barely breathable, and dangerous predators lurked in the toxic forests. As the situation rapidly deteriorated, the humans once again rose to the challenge. Dr. Chen quickly analyzed the hostile environment and devised protective measures using their limited resources. Captain Rivera organized the team into an effective survival unit, drawing on Earth's long history of exploration in harsh conditions. For 2 weeks, they not only survived but managed to complete their terraforming mission. When the extraction team finally arrived, they found the humans and their alien teammates dirty, exhausted, but alive and successful. Back at the academy, the High Council convened an emergency session. The humans had exceeded all expectations, demonstrating not just physical resilience, but remarkable problem-solving skills, adaptability, and an unbreakable spirit of cooperation. Ambassador Zixtal addressed the council. Esteemed colleagues, I believe we have underestimated the humans. Their homeworld, which we initially saw as a liability, has in fact been the crucible that forged their greatest strengths. Eon, the head of the council, pulsed thoughtfully. Indeed, but this leaves us with a dilemma. The humans' potential is immense. They could be our greatest allies, or our greatest threat. As the council debated, Captain Rivera, who had once again managed to bug the chamber, listened intently. He realized that humanity stood at a crossroads. Their performance at the academy had proven their worth, but it had also placed them under intense scrutiny. Gathering Dr. Chen and the other human leaders, Marcus shared what he had learned. We've proven ourselves, he said, but now we need to show them that our strength doesn't make us a threat, that we can be trusted with the power our harsh world has given us. Samantha nodded, her expression determined. Then that's what we'll do. We'll show the galaxy that humanity's greatest strength isn't our adaptability or our resilience. It's our capacity for compassion, our drive to protect others, and our unwavering hope for a better future. As the human contingent prepared for their final year at the academy, they knew that their greatest challenge lay ahead. They had to prove not just their abilities, but their character. The fate of humanity's place in the galaxy hung in the balance, and they were determined to show the universe what it truly means to be human. Little did they know, events were unfolding back on Earth that would soon call upon every skill they had learned, testing humanity's place in the galactic community in ways they could never have imagined. Luminars began to view humans as potential rivals for their long-held position as the Confederation's problem solvers. One day, during a mixed-species team exercise, things came to a head. The team, consisting of Dr. Chen, Captain Rivera, Zephyr, a Luminar named Solara, and others, was tasked with escaping a malfunctioning space station before it exploded. As they raced through the deteriorating station, Solara deliberately sabotaged their efforts, hoping to prove human inadequacy. When a bulkhead unexpectedly collapsed, trapping Solara, the Luminar expected to be left behind. To Solara's surprise, Samantha and Marcus rushed back, risking their lives to free the trapped alien. "We don't leave anyone behind," Marcus grunted as they worked to lift the heavy debris. This act of selflessness shocked Solara. "Why? I've done nothing but hinder you." Samantha, straining under the weight of the bulkhead, managed a smile. Because it's the right thing to do. On Earth we have a saying, united we stand, divided we fall. Their teamwork allowed them to escape just as the station's core went critical. As they watched the explosion from the safety of their escape pod, a chastened Solara turned to the humans. I may have misjudged your species. This incident marked a turning point. Word of the humans' actions spread through the academy, changing perceptions. Many who had been wary now saw humans as valuable allies rather than potential threats. However, the High Council remained cautious. They decided to implement one final, extreme test. Under the guise of a routine terraforming exercise, they sent a mixed team, including several humans, to a hostile planet on the edge of known space. What the team didn't know was that the planet's conditions were far more severe than reported. Acid rain fell from the sky, the atmosphere was barely breathable, and dangerous predators lurked in the toxic forests. As the situation rapidly deteriorated, the humans once again rose to the challenge. Dr. Chen quickly analyzed the hostile environment and devised protective measures using their limited resources. Captain Rivera organized the team into an effective survival unit, drawing on Earth's long history of exploration in harsh conditions. For 2 weeks, they not only survived but managed to complete their terraforming mission. When the extraction team finally arrived, they found the humans and their alien teammates dirty, exhausted, but alive and successful. Back at the academy, the High Council convened an emergency session. The humans had exceeded all expectations, demonstrating not just physical resilience, but remarkable problem-solving skills, adaptability, and an unbreakable spirit of cooperation. Ambassador Zixtal addressed the council. Esteemed colleagues, I believe we have underestimated the humans. Their homeworld, which we initially saw as a liability, has in fact been the crucible that forged their greatest strengths. Eon, the head of the council, pulsed thoughtfully. Indeed, but this leaves us with a dilemma. The humans' potential is immense. They could be our greatest allies or our greatest threat. As the council debated, Captain Rivera, who had once again managed to bud the chamber, listened intently. He realized that humanity stood at a crossroads. Their performance at the academy had proven their worth, but it had also placed them under intense scrutiny. Gathering Dr. Chen and the other human leaders, Marcus shared what he had learned. We've proven ourselves, he said, but now we need to show them that our strength doesn't make us a threat, that we can be trusted with the power our harsh world has given us. The enigma of Earth, a deadly paradise. As the human contingent entered their final year at the Galactic Academy, a research team from the Confederation arrived on Earth to study the planet that had produced such a remarkable species. Led by the renowned xenobiologist Dr. Zilix, a tentacled cephalon from a water world, the team was eager to unravel the mysteries of humanity's homeworld. Their first shocking discovery came moments after landing. The atmospheric sensors on their ship began blaring warnings. Impossible, Dr. Zilix gurgled through his respirator. These oxygen levels are toxic to most carbon-based life forms. How do humans survive this? As they ventured out in protective suits, the surprises continued. Earth's gravity, which humans had always considered normal, was nearly twice that of most habitable planets in the Confederation. The temperature variations from equator to poles, the intensity of solar radiation, the diversity and aggression of Earth's biosphere, all of it painted a picture of a world that should have been inhospitable to intelligent life. Back at the Galactic Academy, news of these findings spread quickly. Dr. Chen was approached by her xenobiology instructor, Professor Xanthar, a being composed of living crystal. Dr. Chen, Xanthar chimed, his crystalline form vibrating with excitement. Is it true that your people don't use personal force fields to protect against your world's wildlife? Samantha blinked in confusion. Force fields. No, we just avoid dangerous animals when we can, and defend ourselves when we must. Xanthar's crystal facets pulsed with astonishment. Extraordinary. Your species has evolved alongside predators that would be considered alpha threats on most worlds. No wonder your reflexes and risk assessment abilities are so advanced. As more data poured in from Earth, the galactic community's perception of humanity underwent a dramatic shift. Humans were no longer seen as just another species joining the Confederation. They were survivors of a death world, beings who had thrived in conditions that would crush most other life forms. This revelation brought both awe and fear. Many species now looked at their human classmates with newfound respect, even trepidation. Others, particularly those from pampered worlds, began to distance themselves, intimidated by what they saw as a potentially dangerous species. Captain Rivera noticed the change in atmosphere. During a tactical simulation, he overheard two alien cadets whispering. "Did you hear? The human's visual spectrum can detect camouflage that would fool most species, and their hearing range is incredible." "I know, and they can survive injuries that would kill most of us. They're like biological tanks." Marcus frowned. This wasn't the kind of reputation they wanted. He shared his concerns with Dr. Chen and the other human leaders. "We need to change the narrative," Samantha suggested. "Yes, Earth has made us strong, but it's also taught us the value of cooperation, of protecting those weaker than ourselves. We need to show them that our strength is a shield, not a sword." Taking this to heart, the humans began a concerted effort to reshape their image. They organized interspecies cultural exchanges, sharing Earth's art, music, and philosophy. They volunteered for humanitarian missions, using their physical capabilities not to dominate, but to help those in need. Dr. Chen led a team that used human medical knowledge, honed by centuries of fighting diseases on Earth, to help cure a plague on a distant Confederation world. Captain Rivera's tactical skills, instead of being used for war games, were applied to optimize evacuation strategies for natural disasters. Slowly but surely, perceptions began to change. The fear of humanity's potential for violence was balanced by admiration for their potential for good. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Dr. Zilix's team made a startling discovery. They found evidence that Earth hadn't always been such a harsh world. Something had changed the planet dramatically in its distant past, turning it into the crucible that had forged humanity. As Dr. Zilix prepared to present these findings to the High Council, an urgent message arrived from a Confederation outpost on the fringes of known space. A previously unknown alien force had appeared, attacking Confederation worlds with terrifying efficiency. The High Council convened an emergency session, which Captain Rivera once again managed to listen in on through his hidden drone. These invaders, reported Admiral Krov, a veteran of the Confederation fleet, are unlike anything we've encountered. They're adapting to our tactics faster than we can develop new ones. World after world is falling. The Council was in turmoil. Their carefully maintained peace, which had lasted for millennia, was crumbling in a matter of weeks. That's when Ambassador Zixtol spoke up. "What about the humans? Their history is filled with conflicts. Their minds are trained to think in ways we can't. Perhaps they can provide insights we're missing." There was a moment of hesitation. Bringing such a young, untested species into a galactic war was unprecedented, but desperation won out. "Very well," Ion pulsed, its energy form flickering with concern. "We will request the humans' assistance. But remember, this decision may change the balance of power in the Confederation forever. We must be prepared for the consequences." As the council session ended, Captain Rivera raced to gather the other human leaders. They had spent years proving themselves worthy of joining the galactic community. Now they faced a challenge that would determine not just humanity's fate, but that of the entire galaxy. Dr. Chen, listening to Marcus's report, felt a mix of fear and determination. "So it's come to this," she said softly. "We wanted to show them what humanity could do. I guess now we'll get our chance." As alarms blared through the academy, signaling a galaxy-wide emergency, the humans prepared to face their greatest test yet. The skills forged in Earth's harsh crucible were about to be put to the ultimate test, and the fate of countless worlds hung in the balance. Little did they know, the connection between these mysterious invaders and the ancient changes to Earth would soon come to light, revealing a truth that would shake the foundations of the galaxy and redefine humanity's place in it. Samantha nodded, her expression determined. Then that's what we'll do. We'll show the galaxy that humanity's greatest strength isn't our adaptability or our resilience. It's our capacity for compassion, our drive to protect others, and our unwavering hope for a better future. As the human contingent prepared for their final year at the Academy, they knew that their greatest challenge lay ahead. They had to prove not just their abilities, but their character. The fate of humanity's place in the galaxy hung in the balance, and they were determined to show the universe what it truly means to be human. Little did they know, events were unfolding back on Earth that would soon call upon every skill they had learned, testing humanity's place in the galactic community in ways they could never have imagined. Crisis on Nexus Prime, humanity's finest hour. The Galactic Confederation was in chaos. The mysterious invaders, now dubbed the Void Collective, had pushed past the outer defenses and were advancing rapidly towards the core worlds. Nexus Prime, a strategically vital planet home to billions of beings from various species, was their next target. As the Confederation fleet mobilized for what could be its last stand, the human contingent from the Galactic Academy was called into action. Their unorthodox thinking and combat experience, forged through millennia of conflicts on Earth, was seen as a potential game-changer. Captain Marcus Rivera found himself in the war room of the CSS Dauntless, the Confederation's flagship. Around him stood the most brilliant military minds of 100 species, all looking to him with a mixture of hope and skepticism. Captain Rivera, Admiral Krov rumbled, his carapace gleaming under the holographic displays. Your species claims to have experience with this type of warfare. What do you suggest? Marcus studied the tactical displays, his mind racing. The Void Collective's ships were like nothing he'd ever seen, morphing and adapting in real time to counter the Confederation's attacks. But there was something familiar about their tactics. They're using swarm intelligence, he realized aloud. Like ants or bees on Earth, each ship is part of a greater whole, adapting collectively. He looked up at the assembled aliens. We need to disrupt their communication, not just jamming, but feeding them false information, turning their greatest strength into a weakness. As the military leaders debated the feasibility of this plan, Dr. Samantha Chen was facing a crisis of her own. The Void Collective's attacks had released an unknown pathogen on Nexus Prime. Millions were falling ill, and the Confederation's medical knowledge was proving inadequate. In a makeshift lab on the planet's surface, Samantha worked feverishly alongside a team of the galaxy's top xenobiologists. Her experience with Earth's myriad diseases and human medical history was proving invaluable. The pathogen is adaptive, she explained to her alien colleagues. It's evolving faster than we can develop cures. But on Earth, we've dealt with similar situations. She pulled up historical data on rapidly mutating viruses from humanity's past. We need to develop a broad-spectrum treatment, something that targets the pathogen's ability to evolve rather than the pathogen itself. As Samantha's team raced against time to save the population of Nexus Prime, the space above the planet became a battleground. Captain Rivera's strategy was put into action. Human hackers, their minds honed by generations of cyber warfare on Earth, began to infiltrate the Void Collective's swarm network. At first, the changes were subtle. A ship would turn left instead of right. A weapon would fire a millisecond too late. But as the false information spread through the swarm, the Collective's formations began to break down. "It's working," shouted a young Luminar tactician, her energy form pulsing with excitement. Their ships are falling into disarray. But the Void Collective was far from defeated. As if sensing the threat, their ships began to coalesce into a massive, singular entity. A ship unlike anything the Confederation had ever seen, dwarfing even their largest dreadnoughts. By the cosmic core, Admiral Krov whispered, his mandibles clicking in fear. How can we stand against that? Marcus stared at the monstrosity, his mind racing back to Earth's history. We faced overwhelming odds before, he said, his voice steady. The key is to find the weak point. Every Goliath has its David. As the combined human-alien fleet engaged the Void Collective's supership, Dr. Chen made a breakthrough planetside. We've done it, she exclaimed, holding up a vial of shimmering liquid. A nano-adaptive treatment. It should be able to counteract the pathogen no matter how it mutates. But their victory was short-lived. As they prepared to distribute the cure, the ground began to shake. The Void Collective, sensing their impending defeat in space, had decided to destroy Nexus Prime entirely. Massive energy beams lanced down from their ship, destabilizing the planet's core. "We need to evacuate," shouted Zephyr, its gaseous form swirling in panic. "The planet is breaking apart." Samantha looked at the millions of sick and injured around them, then at the small vial in her hand. "No," she said, her voice firm. "We stay, we fight. We save everyone we can." In space, the battle reached its climax. Captain Rivera, commanding a squadron of fast attack ships, had identified a potential weakness in the Void Collective's supership, a thermal exhaust port, poorly shielded due to the rapid transformation. "All ships, focus fire on that port," he commanded. "Pour everything you've got into it." As the combined firepower of the Confederation fleet converged on a single point, the supership began to buckle. Cracks appeared in its hull, spreading rapidly as its swarm intelligence tried and failed to adapt to this concentrated assault. With a blinding flash, the Void Collective's ship exploded. The shockwave rippled through space, disabling the energy beams that were tearing Nexus Prime apart. On the planet's surface, Samantha and her team worked tirelessly, distributing the cure to millions. As the ground slowly stopped shaking, cheers began to erupt across the planet. They had done it. Against all odds, they had survived. As the dust settled, the true scale of humanity's contribution became clear. Their unique experiences, forged in the crucible of Earth, had turned the tide of a war that threatened to engulf the galaxy. Admiral Krov approached Captain Rivera on the bridge of the Dauntless. "I've seen countless battles in my long life, human," he said, his voice gruff with emotion. "But never have I seen courage and ingenuity like yours. The Confederation owes you a debt we can never repay." As news of the victory spread, the perception of humanity throughout the galaxy underwent a seismic shift. No longer were they seen as potential threats or curiosities. They were heroes, saviors, and most importantly, invaluable members of the galactic community. But even as celebrations erupted across Confederation space, questions remained. Who were the Void Collective? Where had they come from? And why did their technology seem eerily familiar to the ancient changes that had shaped Earth into the death world it was today? As Captain Rivera and Dr. Chen stood on the recovering surface of Nexus Prime, watching ships from 100 worlds come to aid in the reconstruction, they knew that their journey was far from over. Humanity had proven its worth, but greater challenges and greater revelations lay ahead. The galaxy had been saved, but the true test of humanity's place in it was just beginning. A new era, reshaping the galactic community. In the aftermath of the Battle of Nexus Prime, the Galactic Confederation found itself at a crossroads. The victory over the Void Collective had come at a great cost, exposing weaknesses in the millennia-old systems and beliefs that had governed interstellar society. As reconstruction efforts began across affected worlds, a new challenge emerged, reshaping the Confederation to face the uncertainties of a changing cosmos. At the heart of this transformation were the humans, their actions during the crisis elevating them from newcomers to key players in galactic affairs. Captain Marcus Rivera and Dr. Samantha Chen, along with other human leaders, were invited to join a special council tasked with reforming the Confederation's structure. The council chambers on the galactic capital world of Harmonia were abuzz with activity. Representatives from thousands of species debated the path forward, their voices a cacophony of clicks, whistles, and electromagnetically transmitted thoughts. "Order, please," resonated Ian, the energy being who led the council. "We face a monumental task. The recent crisis has shown that our old ways are no longer sufficient. We must adapt, as the humans helped us do in our darkest hour." Dr. Zilix, the cephalon xenobiologist who had studied Earth, floated forward in his hover tank. "Esteemed colleagues, my research on humanity's homeworld may shed light on our current situation." A hush fell over the chamber as holographic images of Earth appeared. "We've discovered that Earth wasn't always the death world we know today. Eons ago, it was much like other life-bearing planets, but something changed it, turning it into a crucible that forged humanity's resilience." Murmurs rippled through the assembly. Samantha leaned forward, her heart racing. Could this be connected to the Void Collective? Zilix continued, "We found traces of technology eerily similar to that of the Void Collective, dating back to this transformative period on Earth. I believe the humans' world was a testing ground, a place where these entities engineered harsh conditions to create weapons." The chamber erupted in shocked exclamations. Marcus stood up, his voice cutting through the noise. "Are you saying we were created as weapons?" "Not created," Zilix clarified, his tentacles waving for calm. "Shaped. Your ancestors were survivors, adapting to conditions the Void Collective imposed on your world. You evolved to thrive in an environment they thought would break you." As the implications sank in, Ambassador Zixtol spoke up. "This explains the Void Collective's tactics. They expected to face beings molded by the harsh conditions they created. Instead, they faced a humanity that had turned those very conditions into strengths, and a united confederation that had learned to harness those strengths." The revelation sparked intense debate. Some species feared this connection to the Void Collective might make humans a threat. Others argued a humanity's triumph over their engineered origins made them invaluable allies. Amidst the chaos, Samantha stood. "Esteemed members of the council," she began, her voice steady, "yes, our history has been shaped by hardship, but it has also taught us the power of unity, of standing together against impossible odds. We turned a world designed to break us into a cradle of civilization. We're not weapons, we're survivors, innovators, and now, we hope, friends." Her words resonated through the chamber, touching hearts and minds across species barriers. Marcus joined her, adding, "The Void Collective sought to create weapons, but instead, they created protectors. We've proven that we will stand against any threat to peace in this galaxy, not because we were engineered to, but because we choose to." As discussions continued, a new vision for the Confederation began to take shape. Humanity's adaptability and innovative thinking were seen as vital components in creating a more resilient galactic society. The reforms were sweeping. A new rapid response force, inspired by human emergency services, was established to handle crises across Confederation space. Educational curricula were revised to incorporate Earth's history of overcoming adversity. Human medical knowledge, born from millennia of battling diseases, revolutionized healthcare across the galaxy. But perhaps the most profound change was philosophical. The Confederation, long comfortable in its perceived utopia, embraced a new ethos of continuous improvement and preparedness. The harsh realities of humanity's history became object lessons in the importance of never growing complacent. As the council session concluded, Eon addressed the assembly one final time. "Today marks the dawn of a new era for our Confederation. We face the future not in fear of what challenges may come, but with the confidence that together we can overcome anything. Our new human friends have taught us that it's not the absence of hardship that defines us, but how we rise to meet it." Months later, on observation deck overlooking Earth, Marcus and Samantha stood side by side, watching their home planet spin below. Ships from across the Confederation streamed to and from the planet, as Earth quickly became a hub of galactic culture and innovation. You know, Marcus mused, for all the wonders we've seen out there, Earth still takes my breath away. Samantha nodded, a smile playing on her lips. It's ironic. The very thing that was meant to be our prison became our greatest teacher, and now it's helping to forge a stronger galaxy. As they watched, a sleek ship of obviously alien design descended towards Earth's surface. It carried the first group of non-human students to attend universities on humanity's homeworld, eager to learn the resilience and creativity that had become humanity's hallmark. So, Captain, Samantha said, turning to Marcus with a twinkle in her eye, ready for our next adventure. Marcus grinned, gesturing towards the stars that now seemed more full of promise than ever before. Always, Doctor. The galaxy's waiting, and we've got a lot more to discover. As they turned to board their ship, bound for new worlds and new challenges, both felt a profound sense of pride and purpose. Humanity had not only found its place among the stars, but had become a catalyst for positive change throughout the galaxy. The crucible of Earth had forged them, the trials at the Galactic Academy had proven them, and the battle against the Void Collective had defined them. Now, as they ventured forth into the unknown, humanity stood ready to help shape a brighter future for all species, turning the harsh lessons of their past into hope for a united galactic tomorrow. And so, as their ship lifted off, carrying them towards new horizons, the saga of humanity's journey among the stars continued, a testament to the indomitable spirit that had allowed them to thrive on a world designed to break them, and now drove them to help build a stronger, more resilient galactic civilization for all.